In this video tutorial, you're going to learn how to import any URL or web page of yours into GroovePages. With GroovePages specifically, there's a function to import any URL. So this is good news if you have an existing web page that you want to convert over to a Groove page, or if you have some sort of private label rights product and convert this into a Groove page. So if you want to learn more, then keep on watching. Hey, my name is Aurelius, and on this channel, I share my tips, tool reviews, and tutorials to help you scale your business with online tech. So if that interests you, be sure to hit that subscribe button below, turn on notifications too, so you don't miss a thing. All right, first things first, you're going to need a GrooveFunnels account. Signing up to GrooveFunnels is free, so there are, of course, restrictions. You can create like 3 sites, and with the amount of imports, I think you can import about 15 URLs. But with the free account, you can still use many of the functions that GrooveFunnels offers. If you do want to use its full features, then you can upgrade for a lifetime account at the time of this recording. I've upgraded myself, and I plan to transition over to GrooveFunnels and put all my products there using its tools such as GroovePages and GrooveSell, so that I can create my sales funnels in GrooveFunnels. So in this video, I want to walk you through step-by-step how to import any existing URL or web page you might have online, so that you can use its functionalities like being able to move across blocks and use some of its templates and use the drag and drop features of GroovePages. Now, as a little side note, it won't import 100% and it won't look perfect and the way that you have it currently on your webpage. Sometimes you can have that happen, but you know, especially if you have a lot of scripts and CSS and styling on your webpage, maybe a little more harder, but I think overall it does a pretty good job. So here's what to do. Simply go to GrooveFunnels, and under GrooveFunnels, go to GroovePages. Click on New Site from the top right corner. And from the template section, we're going to just click the Start from Scratch option. Give the site a name. I'm just going to call this Demo. Click on Start Building. Now, what you need to have open as well is the web page and the URL of what you want to import. So I've got one of my products here. So it's called Resilience. And this is an ebook about resilience. So I've got at the top here, we've got our URL. I'm just going to right-click, copy it first. Go back to the GroovePages section. Where you need to go is to Pages. Then from here, we're going to click the plus sign. Click on URL Importer, and then enter that URL or paste it in. And there's an option to import the layout only, or if you want to copy the entire page, then simply click on Copy Entire Page. The next step is a necessary step because you need to prove that you're the actual owner of the page. So to do so, it's quite simple. Click on Copy. This will copy the code, the line of code that then needs to be pasted in to that web page. What I've got open now is the original web page sitting on my folder on my computer. So I'm just going to right click here, open with, and use the basic text editor, or you can use Notepad if you're using Windows. So from here, I'm going to insert it after the header tag. Now, if you are trying to import, let's say, a WordPress page, then you will need to insert it where the header section is. You know, it says here page head. So placing the following code in your page head. If you are using a WordPress site, then you can still import it, but you do need to insert the URL between the header tags. So really depends what theme you're using. If you find that difficult, then simply add a plugin. I think it's you can search through the WordPress plugins, add a new plugin and search for insert header. And one of those plugins should do the job. These plugins will simply allow you to add a line of code or codes to the header section. So I'm going to do that now right here, paste it in. And as you can see, that's the line of code that GroovePages had asked me to insert to prove ownership. Now I'm going to save this. Next up, open your file transfer program. So I'm using FileZilla. You can also do this through cPanel. I think it's called File Manager or something. But all you need to really do is just drop it back in or upload it back in. I'm going to connect to mine right here. Next up, go into the folder where your current page is sitting. And now I'm going to just upload it simply by dragging and dropping right there. It's going to ask me to overwrite it. So I'll just overwrite it right here. Click on overwrite. Now that that's in there, I can go back to GrooveFunnels and click on copy entire page. And that should basically do the trick. Depending on how large your page is, that'll determine how long it'll take to basically import. For this one here, because there's not much code involved, only took a few seconds. So as you can see, this is what it looks like so far. Looks pretty spot on compared to the original. So let's scroll up to the original, and that's what it looks like. Let's go back. So it looks pretty neat. Now you may have some other issues like this, and these are easy fixes you can fix up anyway. But for the majority of the part, it looks pretty good. I mean, there's no complaints here, and it's all we need to do is just make a few minor tweaks, which we can do. But the advantage of it now is that we can now work with the GrooveFunnels ecosystem, meaning that we can now use GrooveSell and use the available features and functions of Groove pages. So we can see blocks and add particular alert bars and things like that. So it's as easy as just clicking one of those options, and now we've got an alert bar, and we can say, special offer or whatever we want. If we want to undo it, we'll just click back, undo again. So now it's disappeared. So as you can see, as easy as that, we've imported one of our existing pages to GrooveFunnels or GroovePages particularly. We can also play around with the text as well by just clicking and then selecting from the right here under text. We can change the size of it. So you can see like that. Scrolling down with this particular website, we've got the add to cart button, which we can replace as well with whatever order button we want. So if you go on the right here, we've got configure, and we can either replace it with another button. Again, now that it's imported to GroovePages, we can create funnels. So going on the left here, we've got funnels, and it says click the plus icon above to add your first funnel. So if we click that, it'll take you through the steps to creating a funnel. We can start a funnel from scratch by clicking blank funnel. Now that the funnel's created, we can click the plus icon above to add a page to this funnel. And you simply add another page so that you can create, like, let's say an upsell or a downsell. If you go into pages, you can see all the pages of that site. So you can rename this to whatever. So for this one, we can rename it to resilience, since that is what the product is called, and click on that. And we also want to change the URL of it. So click on edit settings, change the page URL to resilience. Once you've edited your page, you can publish the site so that it'll be live and public. So simply click on publish. And from here, we can either use GroovePages domain name, or we can publish it on our own domain name by checking this box, entering our URL, and then making sure that our basically CNAME and DNS settings are right through our domain registrar or web hosting company, wherever you have your domain name. But for now, we're just going to select set GroovePages subdomain. And what I'm going to call this is resilience, and see if that's taken or not. Click set. It says subdomain unavailable. So let's give it another name. So 2020. And that's gone through. So now I can host the site using GroovePages. So it's resilience2020.groovepages.com. And next I choose a name for this particular web page, so that it'll be resilience2020.groovepages.com/ whatever the page name is. So I'm just going to call this sales page. And now click on publish. All right, it says content saved, and it says changes usually go live within a few minutes, but may take longer. One thing to note about GroovePages is that if you are going to host with GroovePages using their domain name, I'm going to right click this URL. Now this URL is going to go to a blank page. That's because with the way that I instructed you to create and import a URL, it's reading the actual original homepage, not the actual imported page. So if we actually go to the URL bar here and put in page 2, that will display the actual page that we just imported. So that's something to keep in mind. To give you a further understanding of how GroovePages works is that in Pages here, you'll see all the pages that are within your website. So you could have a home page, an about page, a contact page, and some product pages. So in this case, you've got like a home page and then one product page as well. So obviously there's nothing on the home page here since we put nothing. But if we do go back to this one here, this is the page that we just imported. So what I would do is to make sure I rename this by going to this three-dotted line icon, click on Edit Settings, and then making sure I enter the right details. And what's also important is the page URL. So instead of calling it page 2, you would call it something more relevant, such as the product name, in this case, Resilience. So do keep that in mind whether you're using GroovePages domain name or your own domain name to host your website. Another thing you can also do is set the imported page as your main homepage. So when people go to that actual domain name, then they'll see this page rather than the blank page or whatever page that you have in your pages section here. So in this case, we can go here, click on set as homepage. And once that's done, we can click on publish. Now, one thing I also notice is that because GroovePages is still in beta, the actual URL had to change it from Resilience 2020 to something else. So Resilience 321 in this case. And when I click on publish and then click on the actual URL, it works and goes to the actual page that I imported. However, when I had it set at Resilience 2020, so let's go back, click on set, click on publish again. And now let's go to the updated URL subdomain name. It goes to the blank. So this could be something like a caching issue in the backend where it hasn't been updated. But if you do run into this issue, then simply change the actual subdomain name. So simply change it back. So let's put it back to Resilience 321, set it, and hit publish. So this is something I came across when you actually set it as a homepage, and another thing to look out for. But all in all, I think this feature is really powerful, whether you have a HTML page that you want to import, or let's say a GrooveFunnels or WordPress page or website that you want to import over to GroovePages and GrooveFunnels. So there you have it. That's how you import any URL or web page that you own into GroovePages. If you got value from this video, by all means hit that like button and subscribe and turn on notifications below so you don't miss out on any future tutorials. Thanks for watching, and be sure to watch these next relevant videos right here.